Today we are looking at shifting pressure or shifting weight to your lead side in the downswing, and I've got a really simple concept, idea and drill that you can do in practice to help you do this better. So shifting weight or shifting pressure to the lead side is something that all of the really good golfers do, especially when they're hitting the ball from the ground with their irons. And it's unfortunately something that we don't always see in the amateur game, and certainly as we creep into those higher handicap golfers who struggle to strike it, they often don't do this at all. So in this particular video, you are going to learn a little bit about the lead shoulder and what that needs to do as you start your downswing. We're also going to take a little bit of a look at the lead hip and the lead knee and focus on what they do during the downswing. And we're going to give you a very visual drill which is going to help you practice this at home, in your office, at the drive range, whatever that might be, and take that to the golf course to ultimately help your ball striking with your irons. So what do we get when we start to shift pressure into that lead side? Well, generally when we get good pressure shift, we're able to do lots of things that impact that many of you will be hoping to do. Get the handle forwards, de-loft the club slightly, have the low point target side of the ball. And all of these things really help you with distance, ball striking and consistency of that delivery. So in order for us to demonstrate this, we are going to just create a little situation with an alignment stick. So I've popped the alignment stick just through my belt loops, and that's going to give me a pretty good reference for what my hips are doing in terms of their levels. So which hip is higher, which hip is lower. Now, as we make a backswing, we're going to find that the lead hip, which is my left hip, gets lower than my trail hip, and my lead shoulder, which is my left shoulder, gets lower than my trail shoulder. Now, if you'd like to do a little bit of work on that particular move, that backswing move, I did a video probably some 2 to 3 weeks ago now on my channel. I'll link that in the corner. If that's kind of new information to you, go and watch that one first and then come back to this one. So let's assume we've made a pretty good movement into the backswing and we've got our lead side lower. What we're really going to try and get you to do is feel as if the lead shoulder and the lead hip stay lower than the trail side for a little bit longer into the downswing. So you can see as I'm starting my downswing here, my lead hip is still lower and my lead shoulder is still lower. Now, if we look at the golfers who do shift pressure well, who strike the ball well, who hit the ball kind of like we aspire to, that's what they do. If we look at those golfers, this could well be the category that you fall into, where you don't shift your pressure, where you feel like you get stuck on that back leg, you don't strike the ball well. What we might find is that either the lead hip or the lead shoulder will start to move higher too quick. So you can see that in my lead hip, and you can also see that in my lead shoulder. Now, when I get to impact in a good golf swing, the lead side would be higher. So my lead shoulder is higher and my lead hip is higher by a small amount. So at impact, the lead side tends to be higher because it's starting to move away from the ground. The key thing in this little exercise, in this little video, is the timing of when these things change. So let me demonstrate what I'd like you to do if you feel like you could benefit from a little bit of a better shift into your lead side. You're going to take your starting position, get something like this through your belt loops and just make a rotation up to the top. And just start to make some downswings where you feel as if your lead shoulder and lead hip are staying lower than your trail side. Now you'll notice from the down the line view that I'm also adding some rotation. I'm starting to open up my body. I don't want to simply just fall onto that lead side with no rotation. But you're going to sense whether that's kind of different to what you normally do in your golf swing. You might be the golfer who's been told to bump your hips. If you've been told to bump your hips, very often what that movement can do is it can force the lead shoulder too high this way, so we get too much of our upper body bending to our right and our low point tends to become too far forward. So once we've sort of done that little exercise and we've taken that alignment stick away, we can still have those same sort of concepts and same ideas. And certainly when you're playing golf, you can't really be thinking too much technically, positionally, but you can have some concepts. So on the golf course, you might really benefit from making a backswing and then feeling like your left side stays lower than your right side for a little bit longer. Like we said, when I get to impact, that relationship will change, but we're really looking for you to keep your left side lower for a little longer in that downswing. That's going to help you shift your pressure forwards into that lead side. That's really going to help with your ball striking. So let's see if we can go ahead and do this. Left side stays lower. And if you can take a divot after the golf ball, that's going to give you some really, really good feedback that you were able to get your low point target side of the ball. And really the only way you can do that is to start to shift onto that lead side and start to rotate a little bit. So that little exercise should help you start to shift your circle a little bit more towards the target. That gets the low point in front of the ball, and that's where we start to get those strikes that we want from, the flight that we want, the feels that we want, the compression on the golf ball, all of those things that we tend to, like I said at the start, see the best players doing. So an alignment stick, belt loops, that's all you need to work on your pressure shift, your levels, and that's really going to help with your ball striking when you're out on the golf course. Really, really hope that lesson was helpful to you and there was some value there for you. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and if you know someone you think could benefit from this information, please share the video with them as well. Also, please hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, it's down in the description, or there's one just over here in the corner. Thank you very much for watching. We'll hopefully see you back here again soon.